Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is: will non-immigrant arrests cause the internal revolution spoken of by Dmitry Duduman? The scuttlebutt on the internet is when this happens, I said when, not if, when this happens, that they have an 8-hour video, have actual video proof of the dastardly bad law-breaking events and things that these evil leaders have done. Put into an 8-hour video, and they're going to play it 3 times a day, 24 hours a day, on all radio and TV. It's the only thing you'll be able to watch for 10 days. Now, that's the scuttlebutt. Whether they actually do that, or I don't know, but it would be a pretty good plan. And one of the prophecies said that, and that began to switch the attitude of many people to understand why the arrests were made. Number 7, borders closed, dissidents are trapped inside. That's the cause for the military securing the borders. Elections are postponed indefinitely, meaning Trump is then declared king. Now, I don't know if he'll be officially declared king or just have kingly powers, but like Nebuchadnezzar, whom he would he slew, whom he would he kept alive, whom he would he lifted up, and whom he would he put down. That's the kind of power Trump needs to clean our nation. Now, I'm going to show you a dream that I think is right on, and it explains a lot of this. And before I show you the dream, I want you to notice 5 things. I want you to notice that in the beginning, just before it happens, there's a change in our money. What just happened Friday? What just happened Friday? Trump just signed the Genius Act. Well, actually, it's more than just the Genius Act. There's actually 3 laws involved. But what it did was bring in a new financial system. It gave crypto a 1-to-1 exchange with our dollar. Why? Well, because Revelation 13 says, and no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Meaning, it's a digital system. See, you can't, like Henry Kissinger said, he who controls food can control whole nations. He who controls energy can control whole continents. He who controls money can control the whole world. You can't stop people buying and selling unless you get between the buyer and the seller globally. And that can only be done digitally. Why do you think Musk is putting up low Earth orbiting satellites? 42,000 of them is his goal. So there's going to be a change in our money. When? It's already in progress, okay? Also, second thing, I want you to notice that Trump becomes a new president with kingly powers. People are not celebrating in the streets right now. They did not celebrate on November the 5th. They did not celebrate on January 20th. But will they start celebrating when they see the massive arrests take place? I think that's what causes it. Then the massive arrests, bank presidents in handcuffs, Obama in handcuffs. Would people celebrate to see Obama in handcuffs? Many of them would. Suitcase nukes, shelter in place. Now, I think, based upon what Pastor Massey saw, is that there'll be another 6 months after the arrests before the suitcase nukes hit. And I've talked about that, so I'll move on. Now, here, let's go to the dream. 7/30/21, Jason Meeks, he's a prophet, been through Leslie's School of the Prophets, which is called Train the Prophets, which you can watch at traintheprophets.com, or you can go to YouTube and type in Train the Prophets, and you can watch my wife Leslie talk about that. The dream starts out, we stopped at an ATM machine to get some cash for the toll road. I put in my card and got $20 out into the transaction. But before I pulled off, I realized I didn't get enough money. So I put the card back in, another $20, but the fee on the receipt was $42 just for the ATM fee, which is usually $1 or $2. The transactions, here's the point, changed. What just changed in China yesterday? Well, they closed all of the banks, all of the ATMs, and China just went digital. Mandatory digital money in China yesterday. It's here. As we drove back home, we stopped at a major bank. The television screens were showing massive arrests. An alert went out upon my cell phone that DJT was assuming control as the new president. I expected people would be rioting and looting, but they were happy, celebrating in the streets, almost like VJ Day after World War II. And the dreaming man came to me and started crying, saying how all of his evil bosses had been arrested and rounded up, telling me he was in charge of the bank. He was a Christian, had been praying for this to happen for years. As people took to the streets in victory celebration, we joined in. We jumped on the back of the fire truck to catch a ride in the parade because the streets were so full you could not walk. Everything was amazing. Massive arrests. Then I heard a huge explosion. A suitcase nuke had been detonated within the city. I didn't see the explosion, but I saw the shockwave. Now, the point being, back up. Point being is we first see our money changing just like we did Friday. Is there more to come? I hope so. I hope so because I hope these bad things, the suitcase nukes, don't hit yet. We see massive arrests, Trump in control. Then we see a bunch of people arrested. Victory celebration. We have not seen that yet. Now, I'm going to skip this page. You can pause and read if you want. But the point is, change in banking. Have we seen that? I think it's in progress. Massive arrests. Very soon. Rejoice in the streets very soon. Bankers arrested very soon, very soon, very soon, very soon. Which is why I'll recommend you go to empshield.com. You want to get yourself one of these. You want to put this on each one of your cars. Also, they have them for your house so that when a suitcase nuke goes off, your car starts. They say in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So when no one's car starts, and I've got like 11 prophecies, say that's coming. When no one's car starts and yours does, that's going to give you a very nice advantage in a time of trouble. Now, you can get a discount, $50 discount, by going to empshield.com and put in that promo code prophecy to get you a $50 discount on one of these, one for each one of your cars, one for your house. It's a shield. They got videos show you how to do it. It's not hard. I did it. It took 10 minutes, okay? It's just connecting a couple of wires to your battery. Also, if you have an IRA or a 401k, if you have money that you don't want to lose because the financial system is changing, I've got like 14 prophecies saying that the dollar is going to go down a third, then zero. Now, you may be saying, oh, no, Trump is not going to let that happen. No, Trump is the cause of that because he's bringing in a new digital cryptocurrency. That's part of what happened Friday. So I'm saying if you got, like Lindsey Williams said, if you got your money in paper, that would be IRA, 401k, or cash in the bank, or some kind of paper asset. If you got your money in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. So I'd advise you to call 800-200-GOLD and just say IRA, 401k, am I okay? Here's my situation. Maybe they say, yeah, you're great. Maybe they say, no, you're not great. But at least get their opinion. 800-200-GOLD. Go check it out. All right. I also want to encourage you to come to, as a matter of fact, I'm inviting you. I'm asking you to come to our Prophecy Healing Deliverance Conference. It's September 11 to 14, and you sign up by going to prophecyclub.com. Prophecyclub.com. We have 6 seasoned ministries. My ministers, my wife and I are 2 of those 6. It's 10 sessions over 2.5 days. Meals and snacks are all included. I'm going to be talking on the Mark of the Beast, Secrets in Ancient Hebrew, and Pentecost Rapture of the Bride, my new book. Also, my wife Leslie is going to be talking about Christians' greatest problem, the thing that holds them back from serving the Lord. Also, how to close the doors to the devil and the authority of a prophet. Lou and Soon-Hee, husband and wife, apostle prophet in our church, can be talking. But she was, how do I say it? She was a whore, forced into prostitution at the age of a teenager, forced into it, raped and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, she had a lot. She tells a story. Lots and lots of demons. Alcohol. She was up to it in the eyeballs. And all of a sudden, Jesus came to her and set her free in one instant. No more alcohol. She was totally set free. And now, as we see God do this often, when he pulls somebody out of the mud, he washes them off with his blood and turns them around and sends them right back down into the mud to pull other people out. And that's what Lou and Soon-He does. In other words, if you had sex outside of marriage, you probably have a demon. If you have had some kind of an illegal drug or an alcohol, or if you've done some kind of big sin, you probably have a demon. If you have something in your life you cannot walk away from, something you just can't get rid of, alcohol or something like that, you probably have a demon. That's what they do, is kick the demons out. That's why you want to be at this conference, prophecyclub.com. Also have Jonathan Kate talking on building good relationships. Okay, enough of that. Let's go on to the next one here. And this tells you more about what my wife is going to be talking on. It's Prophecy, Healing, and Deliverance Conference. And September 11 to 14, you go to prophecyclub.com to sign up. Prophecyclub.com. Okay, now, let's go back to the beginning. So what if the Trump arrests caused the internal revolution? This is my guess. My guess is, I'm going to jump out of that PowerPoint for just a minute. Okay, my guess is that what we're about to see is massive arrests. I mean, massive arrests like we've never seen in our lifetime. And I'm not talking about illegal aliens. I'm talking about congressmen, senators, big business people, people you know, people sometimes maybe you like. But I'm talking about massive arrests, many hundreds of thousands, maybe 500,000 being arrested. And just like America's not like the ICE arrests, and these are criminals. What do you think they're going to say? Let's say if Obama got arrested. I mean, a lot of people love the guy, okay? How about Adam Schiff? A lot of people love the guy. Nancy Pelosi. Now, I do not know that those people have done anything wrong. But is that going to cause the internal revolution? So a bunch of these people start getting arrested, and a bunch of the bad people that don't like Trump, they don't like all of this Christianity being heaped upon the world, all of this evil being removed. And so we see the internal revolution rise up. We see some of the people start fighting against the government. What do? Well, they start doing things like we've seen lately. They start running their cars into a crowd. They start blowing up dams, blowing up electrical generations. They start blowing up oil refineries. Our electricity gets cut off. They start blowing up and putting poison in our water. People start dying from poison water. I got prophecies on all of that. Suitcase nukes start going off. And I've talked about that. That's a whole other hour talking about suitcase nukes. All of a sudden, our world is in chaos, and we're busy with internal problems. And then right in the middle of that, Russia, which has hypersonic weapons that we cannot shoot down, and they proved that because they gave 8 of them to Iran, which turned around and shot them at Israel, and Israel could not shoot them down. All 8 of the hypersonic missiles made it through. Well, what does that mean? Well, here's the way it works. America invents a new plane or a new gizmo for war. We send it over to Israel, and they make it better. So when something gets through the Israeli defenses, you know it can get through the American defenses. So in that those 8 hypersonic missiles made it through, we should know, and I've got an article there, that the hypersonic missiles will get through and America can't stop them. Russia has some 8,000 nuclear weapons. The one that hit Nagasaki was 4 kilotons. But they have them now that are 350 times bigger. One bomb, one bomb can take out Fort Worth. A second bomb takes out all of Dallas. Can you imagine? 2 bombs. There is no more Dallas, Fort Worth. It's nothing but scorched earth. The only thing standing is chimneys for miles. I mean, it takes you 2 hours to drive from one side of the DFW to the other side of DFW, that whole metroplex. 2 hours to drive through it. And that's at 70 miles an hour without stopping. Try to imagine 100 of those landing in America all in 1 hour. That's what Revelation 18 says. And I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great, is fallen, has become the habitation of devils, the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth who committed fornication with her and lived deliciously with her shall bewail and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, America, for in 1 hour is that judgment come. Why? She saith in her heart, I set a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall in one day death, mourning, and famine shall come upon her, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. God looks down and he sees the sin. He sees the sin that Americans think they're hiding, but they're not hiding it. We can close our eyes and have a thought in our brain, but we cannot hide it from God. He knows every thought, every word, every deed. He knows not only what we do, he knows why we do it. And he's about to hold America accountable. Now, the good part of that is August the 8th of 2015, Saturday night, sitting in this chair looking at this monitor, I said, Lord, I have everything to say for the sermon tomorrow morning. What do you want to say? And I heard words. And they said, this is the time of miracles. As the judgment hits, so will my miracles. Miracles like no one has seen, going all the way back to Adam and Eve. You tell them, I will never leave them nor forsake them. As the judgment hits, so will my miracles. I'm going to meet the devil inch for inch, step for step, pound for pound. Everything he does, I'm going to meet him. Meaning, in the middle of this, when this judgment hits, we're about to see the greatest miracle revival in human history. Well, when's it coming? I don't know, but I think it's close. Why do you think that? Because the day before Christmas, as in Christmas Day 2024, I had this dream. And I dreamed that I was at the back of a church talking to a pastor, and I was saying, we're starting the Power of Jesus Crusades, and I'm coming to all the pastors, and I'm asking them to get involved. And to be involved, you'll need to provide help to help fill the stadium, and also financial help for the advertising to get people there. And he said, that sounds good to me. I think that now is the time, and I am calling the churches, and we are getting churches to cooperate, work together to put together a big crusade in a sports stadium. After all, we've put together 73 three-day crusades over the last 25 years, so we sort of know what we're doing, you know. How soon? It would just be a guess. I thought all of this stuff's going to happen several years ago. I don't know when it's coming, but I know it's coming. So let me say this in closing. We were doing some ministry down in, was it Dubai? I think. And Pastor Basi wanted to show us this. Oh, you got to do this sand dune buggy ride. I said, man, I don't want to do that. No, you got to do it. So we went out into the sand dunes of Dubai in this buggy. And he rode us all around, tried to scare us to death. But we were riding back. That was after dark. And in a Muslim country, you just can't talk about Jesus anytime you want to. You have to get permission. So I was in the front seat. The driver was next to me. And I said, can I talk to you about Jesus? He said, yeah, sure. There was the opportunity. So I said, I saw you and your guys, the other 8 guys out there, lay down your rugs, faced east toward Mecca, get on your knees, touch your forehead to the rug, and pray towards Mecca to pray to Allah. And I said, my understanding is you do that 5 times a day. He said, that's right. I said, well, and he was probably, 45, 50 years old. He said, in all your days, in all of those prayers, have you ever felt the peace of God? No. No. I said, well, When a person receives Jesus, when he comes into their heart, they feel a peace as a confirmation they did the right thing. Would you like to feel that peace? He said, yeah. I said, okay, say these words. Say, Jesus, be my God. And if you're out there, if you've never done that, say those 4 words. Jesus, be my God. 4 words. 4. Jesus, be my God. He said it. And I said, now, say, Jesus, forgive my sins. Jesus, forgive my sins. He said, Jesus, forgive my sins. And he could barely drive for slapping the tears out of his eyes. I said, see there, you feel it, don't you? He said, yes. He felt a peace like he'd never felt before. I remember it must have been about 1998. We started the Spirit of Prophecy Church in Topeka, Kansas, and we had 8 to 12 teenagers that were going to get baptized. And we waited a little too long, and it was getting cold in the year. And we took them out to one of the congregation members' houses that had a swimming pool. And we were all standing there in our bathing suit, about to get in the swimming pool. And I was not the one baptizing them, but I noticed that all these teenagers were all cold, shivering and, in the wind, waiting to get in to be baptized. And they would come out, we'd wrap them with a towel. And after the last one got out, I said, are you guys not cold? I mean, you're standing there in the wind and you're all wet. And they said, well, they all said, well, before we went in there, we were cold. We were shivering. But when we came up out of the water, we were no longer cold. You see, the peace of God had come into them. And all the shivering, all the fear, all went away. I'm telling you that asking Jesus into your heart is as real as waking up in the morning. If you'll just say those 4 words, Jesus, forgive my sins, 4 words, and then Jesus, be my God. Jesus, be my God. Jesus, forgive my sins. You'll feel the peace that passes all understanding, the Bible says. And at that point, that peace coming into your heart is a confirmation your name just got written in the book of life. Confirmation, as Jesus said, though he were dead, yet shall he live. At that point, you will be more alive than you have ever been in your entire life. Also, I guess I should say, you can get my book,
Oh,
Secret
yes.
Door to Understand Bible Prophecy,
Show us
at
that.
prophecyclub.com. $20 for one, don't do that. You want to get a shrink wrap set of 5 for $35. In the back of it, it has these charts. This is the chart of the last 7 years. When I was memorizing the book of Revelation, I heard an audible voice say the 7 seals play over 7 years. The 7 trumpets play over 7 months. The 7 vials play over 7 days. And then this is the chart of the last 6 months. And the rapture, how can I do this? The rapture takes place here, and then we go to the marriage supper of the Lamb up here. And then about 4 months later, we return on white horses with Jesus for Armageddon here. And all of that is explained in my new book that I hope to come out with by September.
Fantastic. And behind you there, you have a nice looking book called Tribulation Secrets in Daniel.
Yes, yes. Actually, if you go to prophecyclub.com, the very best offer we've ever offered at Prophecy Club is you get 5 different books, but they're in shrink wrap sets, a total of 40 books for a gift of $100. And you can get that at prophecyclub.com. That's the very best gift because it gives you extra books to give away for Christmas and birthdays and things like that. So you can give the gift of life rather than just a gift that is going to increase your waste.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for coming on tonight. Brother Stan, also tell us about the Spirit of Prophecy Church.
The Spirit of Prophecy Church is probably one of the strangest churches out there because it's a 100-year-old church. In other words, if you were to go back to America churches 100 years ago, this is the kind of church you would have found. What do you
Yes.
mean? Well, for one, we only read from the King James Bible, not from
Oh,
these new, easy to understand, perverted Bibles.
right.
Also, we don't go around telling them that they can ignore the back part of the book about all those scary things in Revelation. We teach the whole book like it's supposed to be taught. And we
Yes.
think what you're supposed to do is to learn the King James Bible and to do your best to follow the King James Bible. And for
Amen.
that, it makes us a weird church. So weird as on Sunday, we only have 30 or 40 people, but we'll have, oh, between 1,500 and 2,000 views every week. So the
Oh, that's
larger part
great.
of our congregation is online versus being actually in. But one of
Yes.
these days, that's going to change. The Lord told me
Yes.
that when those prophecies I gave your wife, Leslie, when those prophecies I gave your wife begin to come to pass, people from all directions are beginning to turn and listen to your ministry. He's given
Yes.
me both a dream and a vision that I would be speaking in sports stadiums. And I think that's coming. I think
Oh,
that's
that's
coming.
exciting. And you know what? I'm a strange person then too because that's all I read is the King James. Don't give me anything else. Uh, praise the Lord for
Bill
the King James.
Sneblin, have you ever had Bill Sneblin on?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, sir.
He says when he goes into deliverance, if he quotes or uses any other version other than the King James Bible, he gets nowhere. Why? He says,
Wow.
because the demons know those aren't the word of God and they don't have to obey those words. The only ones they
Yes.
have to obey is the King James Version.
Wow. I love that. Who said demons don't know the truth? Yes, they do. They've read the Bible many a time, and that's the Bible they read um, because it's the truth. The truth will set us free. Brother Stan, what time do you have services there in Plano, Texas?
We ask new people to walk in at 10:15 to coffee and donuts,
Yes.
and but actually it starts at 9:30.
Folks, I encourage you to tune in to Stan's program. Stan, you still airing daily on YouTube?
We are daily on YouTube. If you go to either the App Store or to Google Play, you can download our app, and it's real nice
Yes.
because then we can't be cut off. And anyway, but you download the app, you can start playing. If you get a phone call, it pauses it, starts it again after the phone call. You can lay it out and start listening to it while you're at work, and you can easily pause it and then pick it up when it's over. Get that at prophecyclub.com. Get our books and stuff at prophecyclub.com. You can watch us on not only YouTube, but Rumble and BitChute and
Oh, yes.
all of the platforms out there just about Prophecy Club. Type it in.